Yeah, welcome gentle people, Sanjay Uchiha here, back at it again. So the big question right now, I think, is do we handle Sarada Uchiha losing her eyesight with scientific ninja technology? Let's kind of discuss it. So, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 31 has come and gone, and of course, I'm sure most of you have already read it, but if not, of course, spoilers. And, in the chapter, we saw Sarada make use of her Mangekyo Sharingan once again to take out a bunch of Mamushi clones. But this time, after making use of her Mangekyo Sharingan, we saw that her vision is rapidly declining compared to when she just got it, maybe like what, almost 10 chapters ago now, which is actually kind of crazy to say. But it kind of leads us to today's discussion for the most part, right? Which I'm pretty sure a lot of persons have already started discussing. And it's, how do we handle Sarada going forward in terms of, getting the EMS, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, or at least kind of, rectifying her position in the story when it comes on to using her eyes, because no matter how you slice and dice it, when it comes on to Team Konoha, Sarada is one of the heavy hitters. No matter how you want to, debate things when it comes on to a power scaling standpoint, Sarada is one of the heavy hitters. And even from the perspective of Kashin Koji, I'm sure that he would love, I definitely want to have Sarada be a relevant member of the offensive going forward, right? So, I mean, it's only logical. So the question now comes down to, how do we handle it? Now, again, I'm sure this is a discussion that, persons have kind of had here and there ever since Sarada got her Mangekyo Sharingan in, the pre-time skip and, made use of it against Ryu about 10 or so chapters ago, right? And it's interesting because on the surface, it seems like she hasn't really used it much and she's already going blind. And if I compare it to, like, say, Sasuke back in, Naruto, I did look up the chapters, when they infiltrated the hidden cloud village. I was looking at all the time Sasuke used his Mangekyo Sharingan to get him up to a point that's kind of more or less equal to what Sarada's experiencing, right? So looking back at it, I remember like Sasuke, and of course, as I said, I did check out back the, kind of glimpse back through the chapters. So we had Sasuke using his Mangekyo Sharingan against that random cloud ninja. I assume he was a Jonin. We had him using the Mangekyo against Killer B, attempting to use Genjutsu on him. Then of course he used Amaterasu on him, and I believe the two times after that was using blaze release or flame control twice to put out the flames on Karen, who got caught up in the Amaterasu, and to put out the flames on Killer B. So more or less a total of 5 times. And I believe it was after that when they came back to their temporary base, when Sasuke was trying to pick up a glass of water, we saw, what his vision was looking like. And yeah, it was deteriorating. It was more or less the same place where Sarada's is now. Of course, Sasuke did go on to the Five Kage Summit to really abuse the Mangekyo even more. And of course, by the end of that arc, he needed the Itachi transplant, right? So the transplantation of Itachi's eyes. So yeah. So with that said, I think when it comes down to Sarada, we have maybe one more big battle when it comes down to the Mamushi, and then we'll have to start thinking about what comes next in terms of rectifying our eyesight. No, I'm sure, I might have thrown some ideas on the table before. I'm sure you guys have too. I'm sure it's been said in the community. Of course, we have the option of, like, say, Sasuke with the, but he's in a tree and he only has one eye. Of course, I've also kind of thrown on the possibility of maybe somehow making use of Hidari's eyes. That might be a possibility too, because of course Hidari would share a chakra signature with Sasuke, and of course a lot of that chakra is going to the eyes as well, naturally, right? So maybe, just maybe, this would be an interesting way to get not only a EMS but like maybe a pseudo or an actual Rinnegan for Sarada to kind of help, get rid of the blindness issue. I mean, getting the eyes of I guess a 10 tails enhance Sasuke hybrid eyes. You know, you get the point based on what the composition of the Shinju are. So I think that would be interesting having arc after this where we tackle the, because obviously Hidari and Sarada will have to actually come to blows at some point. So I think that would be an interesting idea to have Hidari kind of evolve similar to how Jura's evolving as a quote unquote person. Have Hidari be one of the persons to, I guess, for lack of a better term, betray the group or at least do something that goes against the grand plan of the group by helping out the good side. Even though some persons will probably say Juro and the way he's been behaving is kind of already in line with that, maybe. So, you know, just food for thought. But I think those two are two good ideas. But now it comes down to the question of like a third option. Would Sarada fans want the use of scientific ninja tech be a way to actually, you know, get rid of the blindness, kind of heal the Mangekyo Sharingan? Because, you know, I look at it from two perspectives. One, of course, and I've talked about this, I think it was closer to the end of the year, or maybe at the start of the year, maybe. I'm getting old, the memory's going. But the point is, scientific ninja weapons have been kind of a thing, like, since the Boruto era started. And I was one of the persons that was kind of championing the whole idea of, for example, Sumire being somebody who's, you know, through the use of Kashin Koji's prescience, gotten that scientific ninja weapon tech knowledge upgrade, and I was kind of expecting that Sumere through her would actually get more use of scientific ninja weapons on the field. And of course we do have that right now with Boruto's, you know, upgraded sword. So I was kind of thinking from that perspective, since this plot device, or you know, this type of technology is kind of ingrained in terms of the Boruto era and kind of represents that whole traditional versus new age way of doing things. It probably would make sense to have Sumeric probably, or Amado, develop something for Sarada, right? Maybe a new pair of glasses, which would be funny. Healing the Mangekyo Sharingan issue with a new pair of glasses. That would be funny, I think. But I think the next way to probably look at it, guys, like, I'm thinking, like, the whole defect of kind of losing your lights when it comes down to the Mangekyo Sharingan. Maybe with the advancements in the times when it comes on to not even just scientific ninja weapons, but just medical technology as well. Maybe through the use of maybe legacy characters like Sakura or say Orochimaru, but maybe just maybe that could be a way to overcome it. Maybe they've actually developed a procedure that kind of corrects the issue in from the brain to the optic nerve to kind of rectify the whole blindness issue of the Mangekyo Sharingan. That could be a possibility as well, because at the end of the day, when it comes on to Sakura, when it comes on to say Orochimaru, well, more so Sakura, I would imagine they would have kind of expected Sarada to eventually get the Mangekyo at some point. So maybe some provisions have been put in place to kind of help with that. That's a possibility too. That's something to kind of think about. So, you know, that would be like my third option, like through scientific ninja tech, but through legacy characters or current characters like Sakura, Orochimaru, Amado, or Sumere, who now has, you know, future knowledge of her future exploits, or one possible future. Maybe a combination of all four. I think it would be an interesting way to kind of rectify the whole losing your light issue in the grand scheme of things. Of course, there's other cliche, you know, expectations or, you know, predictions when it comes on to this, like, oh, there's the Shin clones and all of that, you know. So, I mean, that's also an option that's on the table as well. But if you were to ask me, I think I would personally go with either options 2 or 3. For me, either the whole Hidari possibility, making use of his eyes somehow, some way, maybe that, or more than likely the inclusion of like, you know, using technology or scientific ninja weapons, or even just some kind of surgery to correct the archaic, can I say it like that, the archaic like deficiencies when it comes on to the Mangekyo Sharingan, right? So I mean that's a possibility as well. I just wanted to kind of throw some ideas on the board and see what you guys thought, really and truly. So yeah. So right now, as it stands, I think after the battle with accidentally stop recording there. Yeah, but yeah, after the battle with Mamushi, I think this will be the final battle when it comes on to Sarada and using her Mangekyo Sharingan. If I'm comparing it again, like I was kind of pointing out with Sasuke back in Naruto, like I think this is it. I don't think she has much longer. So something has to give in the grand scheme of things. So yeah. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. This video should probably be going up after the end of month subscriber stream. So yeah, I'll probably make reference to it during the stream. So I guess see you after the fact. So yeah. Anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts. Of course, leave a like. Trying to start about the discussion videos. Trying to be more consistent again. You know, I did do a video last week in terms of discussing if the Otsutsuki are dead, so you can definitely check that out. So I'll probably leave it somewhere here, more than likely. So yeah. But anyway, respect. Take care of yourself, guys. Sarada Uchiha, and I'm out.